For those of you that don't know me, I'm Grant Hauschild, and I serve as the Vice Chair of the Senate Tax Committee. And Chair Rust is exactly right. What we have faced here in Minnesota is a direct result of this federal administration forcing cruel cuts down upon us at the federal level, specifically from the big beautiful bill, which I have always said is the biggest oxymoron I've ever heard in legislative history. And what this bill does is it targets specifically the most vulnerable in our communities. It comes after our health care by cutting Medicaid. It comes after people who are vulnerable and lack access to food by cutting SNAP benefits. And as the senator from the most rural district in the state, I know that that federal action disproportionately impacts the most rural places in our state. And what I hear time and time again when I visit with constituents, when I'm door knocking in my communities, when I'm hosting town halls all across greater Minnesota, I hear folks talk about the increasing costs that they are facing. And while some of those costs may be out of our hands, a lot of them are the direct result of the decisions being made at the federal level. And so what this package does specifically is it's our effort to address the cruel cuts that are coming from the federal level and helping provide relief for Minnesotans. And some of the things that I'm most proud of in the bill is specifically the $100.8 million that we are providing in direct property tax refunds for Minnesotans. Almost 80% of Minnesotans would benefit from this tax relief. The deadline is in August, and if we're able to get this bill into law, it will provide direct relief of approximately $171 per resident in Minnesota in direct property tax relief back in their pockets. While this may seem like just one thing that we can do for rising costs, we know that the federal actions are directly impacting local government's ability to operate, and those costs are being passed down to property owners. So this is our response saying we can provide a little bit of relief to property owners and help them get by. This is on top of what we did in the 2023 bill, where we also passed a property tax refund directly to Minnesotans. We directed historic amounts in local government aid and county program aid to communities to help reduce property taxes. We provided homeless aid, which we're getting rid of the sunset in this bill, which helps ensure that property taxes don't rise on communities, helping address homelessness. And we provided payment in lieu of taxes in communities like mine with a lot of public lands to help reduce those costs on property owners. So we have done a heck of a lot to address costs on Minnesotans, and this is just another way that we can do that. A couple of the provisions under the property tax area is we are increasing the market value exclusion for disabled veterans for the first time since 2008. I can't tell you the number of veterans that I have talked to in my communities who are begging us to increase that exemption because they're worried that they're going to be kicked out of their home. And I don't think us on the Senate Tax Committee want it to be on our watch that disabled veterans are not able to afford their home. So we're increasing that exemption so that they can stay in their home and making that a value statement here in the Senate Tax Committee.